right, welcome back to Top 5 Vinyl, where we show love to vinyl owners. Today I'm here with Chloe. How's it going, Chloe?
Good, good. Peace, love, and light. How are you?
Not too bad. Before we get started, for real, tell the people what you have going on.
Hey, my name is DJ ChloeBeeBlessed. Say it with your chest. And I am a DJ, a musician, an avid music lover, an entrepreneur. So kind of a jill of all trades. But we are Vinyl and Patties as the business. DJ ChloeBeeBlessed is the brand. Vinyl and Patties is kind of the umbrella in the business where we sell patties and we sell vinyl. And
Mhm.
we're just a kind of like a one-stop shop for the culture, especially out here in Colorado.
Nice. Colorado. Okay, cool. All right. And then I have to say my usual YouTube spiel. Make sure to subscribe, like, tell all your friends, all that cool YouTube stuff. If you guys are looking for an interview, you can hit me at top5vinyl at gmail.com. With that being said, can you tell me, growing up, was there a record player in the house?
Yes, yes.
Mm,
And actually,
mm,
there's a funny story connected to that because a family member of mine came up from the Bay to Washington State, where I grew up.
mm,
And they came for like just a couple days, but they saw that my dad had a record player and it was broken.
mm,
And my cousin just happened to have those skills to fix it. He
mm.
flipped it over. He was under there for like an hour, hour and a half, fixed it. And that changed my whole world. Like literally, it was like opening up a whole new dimension for me because I always loved music. I was into like the boy bands, and of course, '90s R&B was like it at the time. So of course, I was like just aficionado of all that. But being able to indulge in all that old music so young, I think I was like maybe 9 or 10, just opened up my world to this whole dimension of old music.
Yeah.
And so, just as a musician and a music lover, I just was like mind blown. But then, I think that was the early seeds of being a DJ.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Cool story. Cool background. Okay. Now, so before it was broken, do you remember like hearing the music in your house? Like, do you know like your dad's taste in music? What was he listening to?
Oh man, my parents are very eclectic. Like my dad is, of course, R&B, jazz, gospel, but
Mm,
classical was in our house. We would have, like alternative rock. So in any given time, you could hear, Olita Adams or Yolanda Adams or
mm,
Michael Jackson, or you could hear, you know, California Love. You know what I
mm,
mean? So it was
mm,
just a nice little array of everything. And I think I grew up in a very predominantly like white community.
mm,
So I had that kind of ear as well to the mainstream sounds as
mm,
well.
mm,
So I think it was just the marriage of those sounds, like with what my parents would really play and what was popular culture at the time, really just blended really well for me
That's
personally.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And do you remember like the first time you went to the record store, the first purchase that you ever made, the first vinyl purchase you ever made?
Ooh, first vinyl purchase was a little later in life. Because my parents had an extensive um, vinyl collection, so I never really had to look too far to kind of find vinyl,
Mm, mm,
especially like iconic vinyl like Michael or Tribe Called Quest and stuff like
mm,
that. But at the same time, um, I was like a CD girl. Like in the
mm,
'90s, I was a CD kid.
mm,
So I kind of was like, vinyl, like this is what I love to do, when I want to have some free time and I want to dig in my parents' crates. But I was all about CDs. So
mm,
for me, one of the first CDs that I ever got that like changed my world was actually Destiny's Child.
mm,
I won it. And I
mm.
think I won that and like a Beanie Baby in the same day. And so my mom was like,
Okay.
"You're really lucky." And so, in some roundabout way, I always say, kind of thought of myself as lucky. I kind of turned into being blessed. And so, in some roundabout way, the name Chloe B. Blessed is kind of
Mm,
connected to that Destiny's Child CD
mm,
that I
mm.
won.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And being that you're around like equipment all the time, do you have like a favorite brand of record player or how does that work?
Oh, Technic is just I love, love, love. Of
Mm,
course, Pioneer and with Serato is always a go-to, but
mm,
I think one thing that sets our business apart is trying to make sure that we're using those techniques and really like using scratching and
mm,
working out the turntables because it's really a staple for our business as far as vinyl. So
mm. Gotcha. All right,
Yeah.
cool, cool. All right. And being that this is top five vinyl, Chloe B, can you show me your number five, the fifth
Ooh, I'm
vinyl album that you have in
excited.
front of
I'm
you?
excited. Okay, so number five, we are going with the incomparable
Hmm,
SZA.
hmm.
One time. I couldn't decide between the two.
I respect it.
People is probably like one of the most like iconic CDs of that era, that like 2016, 17 era for me. It was just
Hmm,
like in all of my cars. I had it on repeat everywhere I go. So this really, really means a lot to me. I actually got a chance to meet her
hmm,
and Kendrick and the whole TDE crew and
hmm.
Top Dog and stuff in Nickerson Garden in LA.
Okay.
And so she rubbed my belly in the whole nine. And so being able to get this signed SZA was like
Oh,
everything
wow.
for me. I was like, oh my goodness, control. And then, of course, this album is just, you can't beat SOS. You can't
Mhm.
beat SOS. I think it's just taken society by storm over the last like 2 years. Just,
Mhm.
you can't go anywhere without hearing a little bit of SZA and getting that like SZA stimulus package.
I'd
So
agree.
I
I'd
couldn't
agree.
decide between the two. So I said, I'm just going to call it SZA.
I
This
respect that. I respect that.
is
I'm gonna let you slide. I'm gonna let you slide.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. I think she's, a new age legend to me. Like, I think
Mm,
she's just incredibly talented and just carving a whole new lane. And as a musician, I'm just in awe of like what she's doing sonically.
mhm,
And then, just the cultural impact as well is just insane with her. So it's
mhm,
like
mhm.
very cool to watch her because I've been following her for almost a decade. You know what I
Right,
mean? So
right,
watching the progression of her career has been really, really awesome too.
right. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay. All right. So that was your number five. Let's go ahead and take a look at your number four.
Hey, number four, we're coming in hot with my girl. Uh-oh, it's trying to stick together.
Mhm.
Bam! We got Janelle Monae.
Okay.
So we got Janelle Monae, Age of Pleasure. This came out last year, I think July time, and it might have been 2 years ago. Might have been 2 years ago because it was up for a Grammy
Mm,
for best album of the year, and by truly, she was robbed. She deserved it for real, for real, for real. This came out around the same time as Beyonce's Renaissance.
mhm,
So
mhm,
between the two, they were just like on lock at my house as
mhm.
that summer, just on repeat. I
Huh.
couldn't get away from it. And of course, I have a T-shirt because I went to the
Nice, nice.
concert. They came out, and I was at Red Rocks, and it was just an amazing show.
Mm,
But front to back, like my litmus test for a good album is if I can just hit like, like kind of just pick up the needle and drop it
mhm,
anywhere
mhm,
and just kind of pick up and it's just, and nothing feels off, because the artist works so hard on creating the playlist to kind of like create a cohesive story.
right, right.
So if I can just like pick the story up at any point and it just makes sense, that's like my litmus test. And
Mm.
this is that album for me. Like,
So would you say you do not have a favorite song on this album?
oh, um, I love Water Slide. I not only
Okay.
love Water Slide the song, but I love Water Slide the visual concept. Like she kind of took a lot of inspiration from the 60s and like,
Mhm,
you see those like beach scenes in like Gidget movies or
mhm,
like
mhm,
I mean I wasn't around then, but I kind of have the vision and I'd never seen somebody that looked like me in a scene
mhm,
like that. So
mhm.
for her to kind of create that iconography for the whole album was incredible for me. Like it just blew my mind to see just black and brown people, queer people, just multicultural people, but
Mhm.
an emphasis on black and brown people, black and brown women in this aesthetic was just very cool to me. Very, very
Right,
cool. And then
right.
the album is like I've been following her career since she started 20 years ago. I was
Yeah.
back in college at Howard, like LimeWire,
Oh
like
wow.
on
Yep.
LimeWire, downloading Janelle Monae, just like deep cuts. So like I've just been a fan of hers for years. So being
Mm.
able to get this vinyl was very important, very, very important to the lore. I love, love, love me Janelle Monae. I think
Nice.
she's just incredibly talented. Just
Mhm.
be it, girl.
All right.
That
So that was your number four. Let's
was
take a look at your number
four.
three.
Number three, we're coming in hot. and this was hard. Like this
I can
took me some
imagine.
serious thought. There's like I have my top 10 artists, but then like top 10 albums was like,
Mm,
how do I find what I absolutely love out of these albums of these people? So of
mm,
course, number three
mm,
is Mike Jack, All Day,
mm, mm,
Thriller, One Time for Your Mind. When I say this album just means everything to me. Like just Michael Jackson in general. I think his birthday's in a couple days, mine as well.
mm,
Just one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite just creatives in general. And I think Thriller just kind of changed his whole energy and trajectory
mm,
out of like
mm,
boy band energy to like grown man doing his own thing, carving
mm,
his own lane. And this was kind of like the iconic album of that. And just to me, this was one of those albums that I found when I found that record player. And I literally played this till it popped. Like
huh,
every chance I got, I was like, "Ooh, Michael!" So just number three.
So I don't think I've seen that cover with the, what does it say, 40 on it?
Yes, this is the 40th anniversary album. So
Nice.
still best-selling album of all time, which is crazy. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
40
Yeah.
years later,
Yeah.
still just going strong. Like love,
Hmm.
love, love, love me some Michael.
Hmm.
Lady of My Life is dedicated to my daughter. I don't know
Hmm.
how I knew she would just have a bunch of brothers and she'd just be my girl, but I dedicated that song to her. And so it's like, this album just in general means a lot to me. But then that song in particular is just like the pinnacle.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Okay.
Yes.
All right,
Oh,
cool.
Mike Jack.
Michael Jackson. All right. That was your number three.
That
Let's
was
take a look at your
three.
number two.
Number two. So we're gonna come a little bit more into the newer eras, but still old. So I kind of have like a cheat code, 2 and 2.0,
Okay.
because Kanye West, college dropouts,
Hmm.
like as a musician, I'm not only a singer, but I'm also a rapper, probably
Mm,
more rapper than singer.
mm,
And just the frame of mind that this put me in
mm,
was like nothing I'd ever listened to. Like I grew up again in a very predominantly like white community. And so to see like a brother that was a rapper that had this aesthetic was like, there are other people like this. We do
mm,
exist. It
mm,
changed my whole life. And like just following Kanye's career, I think a little bit before this, even with I think what the not the Black album, like Jay Z's. I couldn't even say, but like because he's worked with Jay Z for years
right.
and years before all of this even popped off, and just watching his career, love him or hate him.
Hmm.
Sometimes you're like, brother, what is
Hmm.
going on?
Right,
But
right.
Kanye is just an iconic individual, just, one of the greats of our time, just like sonically and
Hmm.
as a composer and as a producer, which is also another hat that I wear in music.
Hmm.
So just inevitably, Kanye is like the holy grail, but then his first album is just front to back again with the like test. I could play this front, back, side to side, every part of it goes, and it like triggers different emotions and moments in my
Hmm.
life too. So it's like,
I'd
oh,
agree.
the
I'd agree.
incomparable Kanye West.
Hmm.
And then I said this is like my cheat code 2.0 is
Hmm.
Miss Shaka Khan, her
Mm,
original Shaka Khan I Feel For You album,
mm,
because this was the first song that I ever knew the sample of. So
mm.
when I heard Through the Wire, and I was like, oh my God, I know that song because of the
Right.
records, I was like mind blown. So I'm like, oh, this guy's so cool and snap, da, 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 da. But just to be able to have pinpointed that just from my nights of just playing this album, it just changed my world completely. I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know you could do that. Like take the
Mm,
song
mm,
and flip
mm,
it and da 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 da. Da. And so it just changed everything for me sonically. But then just being able to harken back to an album, I think Chaka Khan is my favorite artist, just
mm.
period. She's surprisingly not on my top. She is on my top 10, but like
Right,
in
right,
a roundabout way.
right.
But she's my favorite artist, just the voice, the energy, the just iconic energy
Mm,
is unmistakable. But through the fire is like one of my favorite songs. So
yeah. No,
Just
I
able
I
to.
totally get that because I just love listening to. I love when I hear something when I hear the original like years later. I'm like, wait, what? Like this is where that came from? That always blows my mind. Like that's
I love
amazing.
that. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
I think Lucchini is
Mm,
from Olivia the Whispers, and Olivia the Whispers is one of my favorite songs. I think I need to remake it because honestly,
hmm,
the concept of Olivia is like going strong right now. Like,
hmm,
you know what I mean? Just our women nowadays, young women at least, seem so lost. You know what I mean? As far as
hmm,
just the way and the direction, just the lack of mooring. But to kind of connect that, like when I found out that that was that, and I was like, Lucchini's one of my favorite rap songs.
right, right.
Olivia's one of my favorite like R&B songs.
Hmm,
So just being able to kind of connect that old to new, for
hmm,
me, this album and this album kind of like created that love for that for me. And
hmm,
that like Kanye West, Jay Dilla, Ninth Wonder
hmm,
sample sound was really highlighted, and like the love for that first started with this.
hmm, hmm.
Absolutely just started. I was like, okay, what is this? You know what I mean? And then I'm finding out about NPCs and all the things that they do to make it changed my whole world.
Hmm,
So I'm going number two, Kanye West
hmm.
and Shaka is my
Nice.
point out. Uh-oh, let me not.
Hmm.
I'll play that later.
Right, right. All right, cool. Yeah, okay. And for the grand finale, who do we have for number one?
Drum roll, please. Of course, it goes as no surprise as a musician myself, as a DJ, as a producer, all of the things. It's only
Mm,
right that my girl Lauren Hill comes in at number one.
mm.
This is actually, I guess, Apple Music's number one album of all time, which I thought was so
Wow,
funny. I think like 2, 3 months ago, they just crowned this as the album of the millennium. So I
really?
think,
Okay.
yeah, and
Wow.
it's crazy because when you really think about it, it's the story of her kind of coming of age, like,
Hmm,
and
hmm,
so using the theme of like the miseducation of Lauren Hill, just and the miseducation of the Negro, and this was just like I still to this day it's like, oh wow, I'm still playing this 20 years later, like
hmm, hmm,
it's still in, it was in every iPad I had, every iPod. You
hmm,
know, I try to put doo-wop, that thing, in like a lot of
hmm,
my DJ sets just because it always makes me feel good and always can find a place somewhere in
hmm,
there. Just absolutely my holy grail album of all time. This might be one of the third or fourth albums I ever bought. Like
hmm,
easily one of the third or fourth albums I ever bought, and
hmm,
just changed my entire world. I remember listening to it. I think I was in like middle school, maybe not even middle school, just young. And this is off of the wake of Sister Act and loving seeing her in that, and then realizing she was actually her own musician, not
hmm.
just an actress, was like
Right, right.
so amazing to me. And then
Hmm,
just the iconic energy of Lauren Hill. Like I don't think she's come out with a full album since then. Actually, I know she hasn't.
hmm.
And it's like, of course, how do you top this? How do
Right.
you
It wouldn't even matter. You're right. You're
you
right.
know, and I think it's never the goal is never really to top it, but maybe to create a whole new body of work that creates a conversation like that. But I see why she had such a, hard fought time to find a new album that was
Mm,
like, like body of work. And I know that she's been working on some new stuff, and her son and the whole nine. So I'm like,
hmm.
yeah, please y'all come out with something new
Right.
for the super fans.
Hmm, hmm,
But front to back, side to side, just I think I learned how to sing using this album. Like,
hmm.
it was always in all of my Walkmans. It was always an album that was like, okay, this is the holy. Don't open this. Oh, yeah, don't touch this. Not
Right,
that one.
right.
Listen to the CD. But this is it for me. Like Lauren Hill is like none other, and
Mm,
so
nice.
singer, rapper. I think she dabbled in a little production. So
Mm,
absolutely, Lauren Hill is my number one top vinyl pick.
nice. Nice, nice.
And yes, yes. So kind of round it all out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, cool. Thank you for sharing your top five. Before we go, can you just one more time tell the people where they can find you, what you got going on?
Yes, yes. So you can find me at ChloeBeeBlessed on all social media platforms. DJ ChloeBeeBlessed is the official DJ name. And Vinyl and Patties, we are a pop-up DJ, excuse me, record store and cafe. We sell patties, Jamaican patties. We sell records. And we're hoping in the next few months, we are locking down our location so we
Mm,
can really bring you guys all of the goodness. We like to say we're like the hub of the culture. You know what I mean? Where
mm,
you can find the culture, especially out here in Colorado Springs, because we are out here in numbers, but we don't always have the representation that we need of the culture. So we have spaces that are really rooted in us, our culture, and we want to
mm,
be the largest collection of Black and Brown women's music. So we're
mm.
on our way. We're well on our way. So
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
yes, it's
Okay.
all about the culture, keeping the culture alive for
Absolutely.
us.
Absolutely.
It's all about being that space and just keeping the culture alive. I studied art history, and so my parents were like, a DJ? I thought you wanted to be a lawyer. It was like, well, we'll try to come back to that. But as I kind of progressed, I realized how the merging of the two kind of all ended up coming into play with that art history and being
Nice.
able to keep the culture alive.
Hmm. Hmm. We appreciate it. And
Yes,
with that being said, Chloe B, thank you so much for your time. It's been a
yes,
pleasure talking to you.
most definitely. Thank you.
Oh,
You too.
oh yeah, and we'll talk soon.
Most definitely.
All right, thank you.